We have to talk about the new BTS album, ARIRANG. We need to get into potentially some ARMYs needing to cancel their tickets, and then we have potentially some new comeback hints or things that we can expect of V. Say Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Let's get into it. The first story absolutely makes my blood boil, and we have to get into it because it can definitely be catastrophic for BTS as well as the BTS community. Recently, hotels decided to raise their prices due to the incoming traffic for the BTS tour. So specific areas in Korea were expecting an influx of tourists or just out-of-towners to come and rent out the hotel. The hotels thought that it was a good idea or a good opportunity to inflate the prices quite significantly. There were some reports of some hotels charging over $12,000 for 2 nights. These are not luxury hotels, by the way, and even luxury hotels don't cost this much, and I genuinely believe this is highly unethical. I'm the type of person who loves to say supply and demand. I love to potentially mansplain, I guess, economics here all the time, and if there is not enough supply, and in this case not enough hotel rooms, and there's a lot of demand, then yes, you up the price, and typically I would be on the side of a business for doing this. But doing this to this extent and for something like a hotel is highly unethical. Any decent hotel will charge anywhere from $100 to $200 a night. Any decent hotel probably would have over 100 rooms, and we're talking about potentially $6,000 a month for one room, potentially $600,000 for the entire month for the entire hotel if every room is booked out. So hotels are making a killing. They're by no means not making their profit back, but every single hotel and even Airbnbs run off of dynamic pricing in that structure. So if you're someone that has an Airbnb or hotel, of course during seasonal times such as holidays or Super Bowl season or World Cup season or whatever, you can catch up your prices for those seasons because you'll see an influx of people. So off season might even just be $100 for a room, and then for like a seasonal thing they might charge you like $1,000 for a room, and that's typically the most I've ever seen, and the most that I would even say is kind of okay, and even then $1,000 for a basic room, that's pushing it. Now that wasn't even just the craziest thing, but apparently someone showed text conversations with them in the hotel, and apparently someone had booked the hotel first when the prices were low, and then they received a text from this alleged hotel that was not named, and the text demanded that that person cancel their room, saying that there's been an influx of people wanting to book at the hotel and demanding that this particular person cancel their room. The person responded back and said, I reserved a room, so it doesn't matter that there's an influx of people coming in, my room should still be available since I already reserved it, and essentially calls out the hotel and says, you're only wanting me to cancel this because you want to raise the prices. Now this is catastrophically bad because the BTS tickets are already believed to be a lot higher for most people, or maybe more than what people would like to pay. However, they're still possible to pay, and I think most people can still save up for it and pay for it. Maybe you'll put it on a credit card. I don't recommend you doing that, but if you wanted to do it, it definitely wouldn't take you that long to pay off. But the cost of staying at a hotel for 2 nights, which you would be able to see it one night and you wake up in the morning and then you leave, so then it would be 2 nights, and that being $12,000 would mean that you have to take out a loan just to go see a BTS concert. And what can likely happen from this is a lot of people who maybe need the money to survive, and they had like a couple hundred, maybe $1,000 planned for the entire trip. They'll have to cancel their trip. They'll have to cancel their ticket or ask for a refund, because who can afford $12,000 for just the hotel? At times like this, I think it's so unethical to raise prices for things like living and food. I typically don't say this, especially with businesses, but if BTS and the label start to see a decline in sales, and I kind of hope they do, only for the sole reason that they can then take legal action on these businesses and hotels that are raising the prices. There needs to be some laws that prevent stuff like this from happening. I'm absolutely baffled by this, and I think people tend to forget when you run a business, your job is to serve that community. If you're opening a restaurant, your job is to serve the community food. If you open a bike shop, it's to provide bikes for people. If you open a supermarket, it's to give groceries to people in that area. And some areas only have one grocery store for miles and miles out, and they still raise prices. And these businesses don't realize how important every little decision they make is, and how it can affect the entire community that they're supposed to be serving. People have been very upset over the fact that V has seemingly gotten laser hair removal on his face. During a recent live stream that the BTS members did, V came out and said that he had gotten laser hair removal. He didn't say he did it on his face, but Asians don't typically have a lot of body hair. It's just the normal hair on the head, you know, the facial hair or the eyebrows, the eyelashes, that type of thing, armpit hair, pubic hair, and that's pretty much all the hair that they have. Maybe like a little peach fuzz for the legs, right? But I say this to say that there's virtually nowhere else that V could get laser hair removal for except his face. So the general community thought that he did this on his mustache and beard, and I personally 100% see where they're coming from with that. I don't know for a fact, so this is just still an opinion, but my opinion is that it's probably true. V not too long ago posted a photo showing his mustache that he grew out for a week or so, and he said that he was very proud of it. Someone left in the comments asking him to shave it off, and I think he deleted the picture and acknowledged that the reason why was because he felt insecure after someone told him to shave it, and I think he did end up shaving it. There's been edits online that have shown V with the mustache and a little bit older, and you can tell that that's that's just something that he's always wanted to have but hasn't been able to do. And I will echo that sentiment because a lot of us Asians have trouble growing a mustache and a beard, including myself. I don't actually think I can even physically grow one. I think even after a week of not shaving, it would still look like this. But with that said, many people believe that laser might be for the mustache or the beard area because he believes that people don't like it. As I said, I personally believe that that's a possibility because where else would he choose to get his hair removed? But I will also say that he must have felt a little bit insecure about it himself already because every single artist gets a lot of hate comments every time they post something, let alone a selfie. There's always going to be someone who says something. The fact that V is potentially doing something about it means that he himself felt insecure about it. So potentially feeling insecure about it, and then coupled with the fact that he saw a comment about it probably could have made him choose to do this. But I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, people are really, really upset and they think that it's the fault of this person who's left the comment, and who knows? I have no idea if that's true or not. BTS has just announced the name of their comeback called ARIRANG. The meaning of this name has come out and they're basically saying that it talks about them longing and waiting for this comeback. So this album is a little bit of a nod to the community. It's a nod to say that they're back after a long time, and it's a nod to say thank you for waiting. The boys always do some sort of nod for every album or music video as a way to get the community to know that they're appreciated and also to get them talking about it. It's a great marketing strategy. And just because it's a marketing strategy doesn't mean that it's not honest, but it's a good marketing strategy. Once you get your own community to care about something, you can then have it expand and reach new people. People are pre-saving the album, so right now it has over 500,000 pre-saves on Spotify as of recording. This is a remarkable effort, and that means that they're potentially going to hit 1 million by the time the song actually comes out. Now, there's a lot of conversation around deleting the pre-save and all that stuff, and I'm going to have to advise people to not do that. Basically, if you're not aware, people often save the album, and then when the song officially drops, they go and buy it, and then they delete the pre-save because they think that by buying it and removing the pre-save, they're emphasizing the strength or the value of their purchase. So when the chart situation comes up, the purchase will weigh more heavily on the charts than anything else. It doesn't fully make a lot of sense, but for some reason, people have found or believe that this is what works. I don't know where this misconception came from, but it's definitely misinformation that doesn't fully help. Now, you have to understand a few things, which is that the pre-save or the streaming charts are different from the album sales charts. So they're calculated differently and separately. So you do not need to differentiate or try to strengthen one or the other. They're completely different things. Things like this is also potentially why BTS can sometimes struggle with a lot of accusations of chart manipulation as well as accusations of fake views. A lot of BTS videos will gain a lot of views very fast, but then half of those views will eventually be deleted. And it's my opinion that a lot of people don't know how to stream properly or aren't fully aware of what to do in a situation like that. So they just do whatever they read about online and it doesn't work. And then they go to the community and they say, well, I did everything properly. Why aren't my views counting? And it's because they didn't. So the pre-save, that's important. Don't take it off because those numbers still matter. So keep those numbers there and then just buy it if you want to buy it and then stream it. And that's all you have to do, you know? Saving something and then deleting it, like honestly, if you think about it, is that something that a streaming platform would even want you to do? Why would they make it that difficult to count sales or streams? Don't overcomplicate things. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you check out Patreon. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. Thank you so much for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.